If you look at the building itself, this is why we were looking at it. This whole room is just concrete floors. Where's that at? Hospital floors. Record building behind the hospital. Dale finally got all this stuff. All that is what I got. You can't use this.
Hey Joe, you tell your brother I appreciate him seeing this already.
You know, for part of it, and I'm gonna tell you what you want for it. But I got a series.
No, but I said it.
Hey Joel. Joel.
I give her $2,500 for it. 35.
Hey Donnie.
What's up, bud?
You back?
I did. Oh, you want to know how I did it? It's embarrassing.
Who's that? Your daughter?
Friday, running around doing my stuff.
Daughter?
I go to do that right there. Guess what?
I'm telling you, she's
burning. Back before I had back surgery.
Oh, good. So, Lowe's is selling generators.
Out of my truck now, you swing your leg around like that.
Before we get started and going
Call the pro
live,
desk.
this is my usual
They're starting the meeting.
reminder
I'll call
that
you
the
later.
microphones are very sensitive. They will pick up all conversation. So please limit his side conversations to a minimum as we go through because it will interfere with the public watching on the broadcast. They will not be able to hear properly with all the side conversations interfering. So please remember that as we go through our meeting.
After the meeting, I need to.
And we will start momentarily. Commissioner David?
Good morning, everybody. We appreciate everybody being here this morning. You step outside, there's just a little drizzle, not much rain, but we got a surprise coming to us. So that is why we are here again this morning, to make sure that we have crossed our T's and dotted our I's, to make sure that we protect our citizens and our visitors to Columbia County. At this time, I'll turn it over to our county manager, Mr. Krause.
So it did change a little bit last night, but I want to remind you, no matter where the eye of the storm is, this is a very wide storm. It will cover us no matter where it hits landfall. At this point, we're going to turn it over to Shane for the weather update.
All right, thank you, David. Thank you, everybody, for being here. With the 8 a.m. advisory, it has shifted a little more to the east. So we are not out of play by any means. Matter of fact, the winds will probably be closer to what we've been talking about all week. Even with the westward shifts that we saw last night, it has started moving back towards the east a little bit. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that with the 11 a.m. update, we won't see another shift to the east. So that's something that we'll be watching throughout the day. So that means the wind ranges that we've been talking about, the 74 to 110 mile an hour ranges we could see on the western side of our county. So that is the sustained winds with gusts even higher than that. As you move a little further to the east right now, the wind probabilities are looking 58 to 73 miles per hour with the gusts higher than that at that point. So that is something that we do have to be aware of, that those wind values still exist, which we've been talking about all week long, that we could see these type of winds with this storm. As it moves forward, flooding is still an issue that will be a concern for us. The rainfall that will be coming, that amount hasn't changed. We're still looking at 3 to 7 inches. It will be a fast-moving storm. Cessation of winds, probably looking somewhere between 2 a.m. in the morning to about the 7, 8 o'clock a.m. time frame for us here in Columbia County is the best estimation that we have right now with that. So there's still a long way to go with this. We still want to continue to urge people to be prepared so that when the storm, as you can see, it's still being forecast to be a major hurricane as it makes its way through the Gulf and towards the Panhandle toward the landfall. But again, like County Manager Krause has said, like Commissioner Williams has said, Don't focus just on the forecast track because effects can be felt 300 plus miles away from the eye of the storm. So we are still firm in the middle of it, and we thank you all for being here. As of this morning, the Citizens Information Center line is open, and the Emergency Operations Center is open. We open at 7 a.m., and we'll be running through the duration.
Give them the phone number again.
So the phone number for the CIC, the Citizens Information Center, area code 386-719-7530.
So from yesterday, the closures haven't changed. City functions are closed to the public, obviously, or county functions. So our offices are all closed to the public. All of our employees are being dedicated to shelters, being dedicated to the CIC. The shelter schedule has not changed. It is being posted on social media, should anybody need to know where there is a shelter. Again, schools are closed. The garbage hasn't really changed. It's still planning to try and get up as much as they can before the storm hits, and then gather again tomorrow morning and decide. At this point, I want to turn it over to the attorney to talk about pet shelters.
Okay, yeah, so yesterday afternoon, received some calls from constituents asking about the availability of shelters that would allow for people to bring their pets. Strictly pets, not service animals, not anything else, pets. Spoke with Shane briefly about it. This has been a challenge for us since these laws went into effect several years ago during Hurricane Katrina. There were a lot of animals lost in that storm. I'm sure a lot of people remember that. Turns out Congress passed a law called the Pets Act back then. Said, hey, as part of your FEMA funding, you have to have arrangements made for these things. And we did. It's in our plan. What we've not been able to do is get a boots on the ground solution when a storm actually came. And we've never had a problem with it historically. We haven't had people ask, well, this is obviously a different storm. We have had folks asking. We're working, Shane, you can help me out with this a little bit. We're working with Tallahassee right now to make sure we do have accommodations for people who do have pets. It is an obligation of the county. When we get beyond this storm, we've agreed to circle up and come up with a more permanent solution. But we do want to reassure folks that the county will make provision for a shelter with your pets. Do understand you will not be able to have your pets with you at the shelter in all likelihood, which is fairly typical. There'll be a place for your pet to be held, and then you'll be at the shelter near your pet so you can care for it, but you won't necessarily have your pet with you the whole time.
So we went out yesterday and identified 2 potential locations, and I spoke with the city police chief. They may have a 3rd potential location. The 2 that we were looking at, the least preferable one was Richardson, because it would be putting animals in the cafeteria, and that's never a really good situation. The one that looks like it is our preferable site is the record storage building behind the hospital authority. I just talked to Donnie on the phone as the meeting was opening. It is wired so that we can hook a generator to it. We just have to get another generator. But it is just a cinder block building, no windows, concrete floor, open space. It has a kitchen, has a handicap bathroom, does not have a shower. So it would be doable within this event. And then again, we've reached out to the city. They may have a location. They just have to check on it. So we need you to tell us which direction you want us to go. Additionally, last night at 7 o'clock, we received a truckload from the state of dog kennels. So we have approximately 60 kennels
Something like that, yeah.
loaded in a trailer, ready to set up. And then Carrie researched what the policies are. Everybody knows Carrie Guy, our HR director, in other counties when it comes to animal shelters. And I believe, and she can answer this better than I can, using the Hillsborough model, was it?
Yep.
They have to bring, oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
They have to bring their shop record, provide food for their animals, and if they do have a crate, movable crate, they should bring their own crate. And then if not, we will provide them.
So what we would do is we would line the facility with visqueen, and then put the crates on the visqueen, again, to protect the facility, and then at the end of the, throw it all out. So the question is the board authorizing us to use that facility for this purpose?
Oh, I need to, we're not in order. I'm gonna bring us to order. I'll bring the Board of County Commissioners to order. We can address this issue. So what's the wishes of the board? Does staff have a recommendation?
The record storage building,
We need to make a motion on it.
yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we, use the record storage building on Franklin Street.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any other comments from the board? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. That motion carries.
So Kevin talked to animal enforcement this morning, and they will be participating in that shelter to make sure, you know, we do things according to oil.
All right.
At that point, turn it over to operations.
We are changing this up a little bit. Kevin wanna go last today,
Okay.
so we'll start with Sheriff.
On the shelter, providing security for that, for the, pet shelter. Chief will be able, he said if they're gonna do it up on Franklin Street, he and I talked, and he'd be able to cover down on that for us. When we're doing the future planning, we need to make sure anything that would be located in the county that we cover down on that, okay?
Okay.
This was kinda news to me. Rest of the stuff, we're good, we've got everything set, and, just waiting the storm to come in, so we've got all of our gear and people, we've gone to Alpha Bravo, as we said yesterday, and, things are working very well right now, just waiting on the storm.
Okay. Chief, anything?
Oh, you want me to wear my acting city manager hat or my police? As far as the city goes, utilities, they're on emergency schedule. Communications has all the contact numbers for utilities. We are telling people if it's an emergency, dial 911, otherwise call the general, the number, so we're not overloading the dispatch center. The police department side, we are on emergency schedule off the Bravo. We'll man the Franklin Street shelter until it gets shut down. Other than that, I do want to compliment the communications room. This is the second time now we're working, coming up to an emergency, and the combined dispatch center is working the way it should. I'm very happy with the way it's working.
Okay. Highway Patrol?
Yes, sir, we've already gone to the Alpha Bravo Shield Shelter this morning. We have dedicated, cut teams that are gonna be assigned, FDOT, at 4, and then it's all clear for us to start clearing the interstates. And we also have separate cut teams, that will be out there. The interstate's gonna be our priority, and then once it's clear, we're gonna start on state roads and then county roads. We have received submissions already, that we've already, cleared in Cedar Key and evacuated them. But I do ask, we have several others pending for tomorrow. But if you guys have any requests for us, if you would just put state law enforcement, we may have other state law enforcement resources that are closer than troopers or readily available, so we can send them quicker if anybody has any requests.
Okay.
Other than that, we're good.
We really, that's a good thing. Is that the first time y'all have done this?
No, sir, it's probably the information hasn't been out there.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, where y'all are cutting them.
Right, so we do have, 50 troopers on day shift, 50 troopers on the evening shift throughout the entire troop. But if you specify troopers, then it may take a little bit longer to get those resources freed up. So if you'll just say state law enforcement, we might go with full ag officers, FWC officers, whoever's closer. And we also have the MRAP, the high water rescue vehicle, and it's gonna be manned with a whole crew, so if you guys need that for any reason, just send us a request and we'll get it to you.
All right. Thank you. Chief?
Yes, sir, we went to the Alpha Bravo style of double shifting as of 8 o'clock this morning. All of our stuff is up and ready to go. We checked on everything. We, like I said, forestry hit us yesterday with, said that they have stuff and equipment available if the need comes to rise, so we're ready.
City Fire Chief?
Same as Jeff, we're out for Bravo. I just wanted to mention that anybody in the city, utilities, anybody's out working and they need to seek shelter immediately, they can go to either one of the fire stations, at any time, so that's available.
All right, thank you. Anyone here from the power company, Florida Power and Light, Clay Electric, Swanee Valley Electric, or Duke? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Colin Hughes from FPL. Happy to be here and give a brief update. We have restoration workforce in the thousands of positions throughout the state already. We are actively restoring power between dams when it is safe to do so. Additionally, we are repositioning damage assessment teams, including dozens of drone teams, to get the right crews in the right place to restore power as quickly and safely as possible. Of course, customers can always call 1-800-4-OUTAGE to report business as we ring today will be suspended and everything will be focused on restoration. So that time, that's where we are right now. We have our folks here, there'll be our representative Clay here, where you're contacting this room. And anything above is letting us know where our wire's down or something like that, just reach out to us and we'll get that information. Transmission outages, all those things like that. Some of those are prohibited to us to be able to restore power. Waiting on some of that information. So if anything like that comes up, Lloyd and Tina can push that out to us and we'll try to get you an answer on what that time frame looks like.
Thank you. Any other power companies? Or health department?
Yes, good morning. We are up and running at the special needs shelter. We already have 2 clients. We have an officer there stationed. We have 7 employees and 2 ham radio operators. We are open and then some donations. We're good.
Okay, I have, Jeff, property appraiser. Any comments, anything you need to add?
Nothing new, damage assessment teams are ready, so as soon as Shane lets us know, we'll address those.
All right, Jay?
Just want to encourage everybody to stay home and stay safe.
Okay. All right, did I miss anyone? Oh, we have the representative from our, CAT representative. Dan?
We're just, I had a conversation with, Congresswoman last night, and she's ready to hit the ground as soon as things are able to take an assessment, see what we can do. Anything our office can do to help with FEMA or recovery or even volunteer, just let us know.
Thank you. Do you have anything else, Sharon?
I just wanna remind people again, I know we talked about yesterday about staying home. After dark, please go ahead and make all of your arrangements, and we did a good job of getting that out, everything, social media and all. But folks need to stay home after dark. I mean, we know that it's gonna hit in the wee hours of the morning, but get all of your stuff done, and we need to pump that out again on social media. Stay home after dark, and then let it pass, and then we'll get up in the morning and get after it. We'll be out taking care of things, but we need to reiterate, stay home. This one here could be bad.
All right, now we have our commissioner discussion. Anything from commission? Mr. Ford?
I just wanna echo what everybody else said. This storm's gonna hit at night, sounds like early in the morning, so you need to make all your plans before dark tonight and plan on staying off the roads, cause it's probably gonna be Friday morning before we get to work. Sometime Friday when the wind dies down, before Kevin can get his guys out there to clear the roads.
Just got a question for the chief. You said, Lulu was gonna be manned?
Yes, sir.
During the
It's
storm?
gonna be manned by volunteers, yes, sir.
Okay, I needed to know that.
And,
Anyway,
there's 3 of the volunteer stations that'll be manned by
Okay.
volunteers. Yes,
You
sir.
got County Road 18 open too, I see.
Yes, sir.
yeah, okay. All right, well, that's all I got. I'm like the sheriff. At the end of the dark, ain't no way in the world to see nothing. So why in the way you gonna be on the road?
Mr. Oliver?
I got a question. I think Kevin answered this. I don't know whoever he's got one. Now, the CIC number is just for information about what's happening, what's going on, and what times will it be at? The citizen information is not to call in a tree down or something like that, right?
Yeah.
It is? Okay, so
For
the
non-emergency.
Any
CIC
non-emergency.
is non-emergency call to the county to say, hey, a tree's down or whatever.
Right.
Not, emergency's 911.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
So-
else is,
Okay, cause I wanna make sure people know the difference. I don't want people calling the CIC with a 911 where somebody's wrecked or something bad.
So
has
if they
happened.
call a down tree into the CIC, Kevin's got it set up, so that
Okay.
it'll automatically update a work order for the.
And he gonna discuss that when.
Yeah, and I just wanna be able to make a simple one with one number that says it, but we gotta make sure they're not calling in when a tree falls on a person, you know, that's
If
a
it
whole
falls on a
different
person
thing.
or. there's
This is
life
just
safety.
for
Non-emergency only.
non-emergency items that they wanna ask a question or get something done.
So to answer your question, Commissioner Oliver, we electronically enters a work order from the
okay.
CIC immediately to Public Works.
Okay.
So we will see it in real time when
Good.
it happens.
And then, like you said, I think me and Kevin talked about it. If you have a tree down in your yard or across your road, there's not gonna be county crews out there at 1 o'clock in the morning and 70-mile-an-hour wind fixing it. It's gonna be the next morning. So
45 mile an
it's
hour.
gotta be safe. You
Less.
can't send county workers out to die. picking up a tree. We just can't do that. You know?
Power lines in a tree, we don't touch it.
That's right. And that's the other thing is power lines in a tree. That was one of my biggest things I got calls on last time. The power line's down. We can't mess with it. Power company has to do that. So I just wanna make sure people understand that it's not gonna be, we're not gonna be out there at midnight fixing something because it's the storm's too bad.
Commissioner Murphy?
Go ahead, Rob.
I just wanna add one thing. If you got a handicapped person in your family that's gonna be difficult to move to a shelter at the last minute, make arrangements before the storm. I got calls last storm about handicapped people stuck in their house,
Stuck in
trees
their
down
house.
on the road. It's hard to move them because they're wheelchair bound and stuff. You need to make those choices now and move them to a residence that's gonna be safe or a shelter, because it's hard to get people out or evidence out in the middle of a hurricane, so, you know, or sometimes tornado. I've heard all these hurricanes. So, you know, if you have any people that are handicapped, it's gonna be difficult to move at the last minute, make arrangements before the storm hits, please.
Commissioner Murphy?
A lot of our employees that are working these, community centers and shelters and what have you, we gotta be mindful that, you know, they got families also. And, David, me and you've had a discussion, me and the chief talked yesterday, Mr. Rosenthal's due in, I guess, anytime. But, we need to get an answer early this morning from the city, where we can swap incidental employees out to be able to assist these people, because I've talked to two at different shelters, and, you know, they've got one of them lives close to the river in Ron's district, so, you know, we gotta help them out too, so, I'm looking forward to the city stepping up and helping with their incidentals, cause I think we're pretty well got all of ours, you know, at, max, so, let's keep that in mind.
Okay.
Stay safe.
Mr. Kirby?
Good morning. So we did begin our sandbag operations yesterday morning from 7:30 until 7, and we dispersed 11,190 at 3 locations. We continued that operation again this morning, and we will continue so until the weather does not allow us to. We will send staff home today as the conditions worsen. We plan right now to mobilize at 6 a.m. in the morning or at 45 mile an hour or below. We will hit it with everything we've got till we can. Our contractors are on standby. That's inclusive of your road contractors, your monitoring companies, your debris pickup for final cleanup. Permanent pump locations have been pumped down, and we have inventoried all of our temporary pumps. We've got them at the shop. The levels of priority as it relates to pumping will be public infrastructure, private roads, structural damage, and then we'll deal with well and septic tanks. As far as tree removal, we will focus on public infrastructure, private roads, and then private driveways in that priority. Our plan for tomorrow is, and to echo what others have said, even tomorrow, please don't be sightseeing. We will not have time to do proper maintenance of traffic. We're gonna try to cut and toss everything we can, then around 4 o'clock, we'll inventory, and we'll do the best MOT we can. We ordered a few hundred barrels to supply our other barrels. We'll try to block things off tomorrow night that we cannot get to. But if we can limit traffic tomorrow, that's gonna help us all. So in closing, we are asking everyone who does not need to be out, please find a safe place. Be aware that once we reach 45 miles an hour, we will not be responding to calls for service until the winds subside below that threshold. We stress, if you have an emergency, 911, Citizens Information Center, 386-719-7530. Once again, they call that number, it's electronically sent to my guys' number. It will be inventoried with all the other calls. Once we return to safe conditions, please allow our assessment personnel and crews the opportunity to complete the assessment without interference from those who do not need to be out and could be possibly in dangerous conditions. That's all I got, Mr. Chair.
Kevin, we need to emphasize again to our residents about placing debris on the road and versus private contractors that cannot place it on the road. Want to elaborate on that?
Yes, sir. So I just mentioned we will be doing the cutting and tossing. That's our first priority. Obviously, once we get everybody back to school, the hospitals, and work, and things of that nature, we will begin our cleanup. That is a joint effort between in-house personnel and Series our contractor, to okay? We will inventory everything on the roads. That will be your final cleanup stage. If you hire a contractor, I got enough guys on the ground, we monitor it pretty closely. You have a contractor clean up a tree, ask the contractor to dispose of your material. Do not allow the contractor to place it on the right of way. We will have a big enough problem without all that. We will allow private individuals to use the landfill for disposal of organics free of charge. We historically always do that in a state of emergency. It is very important, two things. We don't touch trees or power lines. I recommend anybody else touching trees or power lines. If you hire a contractor, ask them to clean your mess up. If citizens want to put their materials on the right of way, so be it. But the biggest thing I'm asking, and we've all talked about it multiple times here today, allow us to do our job. I think this was gonna be a different animal. We will get you back to work in hospitals if you'll let us. But we are ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. County Attorney, you have anything to add?
No, sir, echo the comments already been made, you know, stay home, stay safe. God willing, this will be gone before we know it.
Yes, sir.
The Lulu, is that just gonna be the fire station y'all are opening with volunteers at the fire station?
Yes.
Okay, not a shelter.
I'm sure.
Okay, just wanna make sure. Clarification.
I'm gonna recommend moving tomorrow. It's gonna give me an opportunity to see what we got.
Okay. 1 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Kevin, that CIC number's 24 hours, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll have another meeting, tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That'll give us enough time to evaluate the situation and be able to make a solid report on what we have sustained in this county, from this hurricane. So I'll see everybody, back here at 1 o'clock, tomorrow, and motion for adjournment. We got a motion, we adjourn. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
This is the agreement with Century Ambulance. They need to have this